It's a pleasure to begin a new week sharing insights that have profoundly impacted my own journey between success and failure. This week, I'll explore one of my favorite subjects, prayer. Often people might view prayer as a burdensome religious obligation. However, I delight in praying and believe in its transformative power. An initial step in prayer is reshaping our negative image of God, which often acts as a barrier between us and the divine. As a child in boarding school, I perceived God much like a strict headmaster, distant and perhaps ready to reprimand. This view hindered my ability to pray effectively. For many, God may seem far off and unwilling to listen, but this is far from reality. In truth, God welcomes us with open arms. The story of the prodigal son in Luke 15 illustrates this beautifully. Despite the son's mistakes, his father greets him with love and compassion when he returns home. This parable reflects how God sees us, not with judgment, but with a heartfelt embrace. When this image of God shifts in our minds, it transforms our approach to prayer. James 1:5 reminds us that God willingly gives wisdom without reproaching us. This principle applies to all our prayers. God listens generously and without fault-finding. Jesus consistently taught positive messages about prayer. In Matthew 7:7-8, he encourages us to ask, seek, and knock with the promise that we will receive, find, and be welcomed. Furthermore, Jesus' teachings in Matthew 21:22 and Mark 11:24 assure us that whatever we ask for in sincere prayer, believing we have received it, will come to pass. Prayer practices that Jesus imparted to his disciples infer that sincere prayer aligns with divine provisions. In John's Gospel, Jesus repeatedly emphasizes God's readiness to answer our prayers, enhancing our joy and fulfilling our heartfelt requests. Knowing that the Almighty attentively listens to our individual appeals is one of life's most exhilarating experiences. Jesus desires this joy for us, acknowledging the deep satisfaction that arises from answered prayers. Revelation 1:5-6 portrays a powerful image of our transformed identity through Jesus' sacrifice. As a community of priests and kings, we are called to reign and serve. These roles emphasize the duties of governance and sacrifice. Kings rule and priests offer sacrifices, yet in God's kingdom, we perform both roles through prayer. 1 Peter 2:5 calls us to be a holy priesthood, offering spiritual sacrifices that are pleasing to God. Following Jesus' example, our sacrifices are embodied through prayer and petitions. This sacrificial offering is what God expects from us as priests. Ultimately, before we can govern as kings, we must master the priestly duty of intercessory prayer. Effective leadership and governance in God's domain stem from dedicated prayer. Therefore, our journey into empowered leadership begins with earnest prayer, learning to rule through the discipline of seeking divine partnership in all things. May God's peace and love be with you always, and God bless you.